Hello, everybody. It's me again. I just posted my latest video. I don't know how long ago since you're watching this one. I might wait a few days to post this. But anyways, posted my latest video. It's got a lot of good feedback. I went over everything I learned in the last 10 years from being a personal trainer. And I want to tailor this one to the title up here. The gyms are closed. Now what? I would like to help you guys stay in shape as best as possible and maybe even improve your fitness a little bit in this time that the gyms are closed. Because we all know it's definitely a frustrating time for us fitness enthusiasts, because I would do just about anything to get a workout in a real gym, but we're going to make do with what we've got right now because these are the cards that we have been dealt. So we'll jump right into it. I'm going to go over my background pretty quickly here. I want to make this video as fast as possible. So I have 10 years experience as a personal trainer, both online and offline. I was one of the trainers at Bodies by Design in Vaughan and Woodbridge, which is one of the largest PT studios in the GTA. I have a fitness and health promotion diploma from Humber College, where they went over exercise science, physiology, nutrition, sport nutrition, you name it. We were very well prepared for becoming a personal trainer. I have both CanFit Pro and ACSM certification. I've done over 10 years of personal research into supplements and nutrition. I am the owner and general manager of Boss Supplements here in Sudbury. So quarantine fitness, what can you do? What should you focus on? Basically, I'm controlling my calories in versus calories out. Plain and simple, if I'm not spending a lot of calories, I'm not consuming a lot of calories. It is hard, especially with boredom, to control your eating, but it is very important in this time, just based on how your body's going to work. Controlling my carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is a big one, because if you consume more than 60 to 80 grams of carbohydrates a day, give or take, your body will not use them, because your central nervous system only uses 60 to 80 grams, and you burn the rest of them anaerobically, which I'll touch on more. So if you're not burning them, they're going to be stored as body fat through a process called gluconeogenesis, which converts the carbs to fat. Stay active. Get as much activity in as you can, because you're definitely more active when you're in the gym crushing a 2-hour workout than trying to fiddle around with bands and stuff like that, which I'm going to throw some workout plans up in the up and coming videos and free workout plans to do the best that you can at home. But it's definitely not as good as a full in the gym workout, in my opinion, because there's so much you can do. It's just incredible. I miss the gym very much. And work on other things like improve your mobility. Can't touch your toes? Now it's time to work on it. You can still stay active and improve your mobility, which will give you better all structure, better posture, better workouts, better everything. It just it just generally improves the quality of your life. So where do you start? Again, you need a SMART goal. You know, if I don't have a goal set for myself, I don't have anything to work towards. And there's no better goal for me than stepping on stage and competing as a bodybuilder when I'm beside a ton of other half-naked men that have been working their butt off to beat me. So that's really good motivation. If I don't have a show to compete for, I'm definitely not pushing as hard in the gym and following my diet to a T as much, but I need some sort of goal, whether it be a fitness competition, you know, a photo shoot, just to set a tangible physical goal for myself of being at a certain body weight or body composition or definition. So it needs to be specific, measurable, adjustable, realistic, and time-oriented. Otherwise, you will just fall off track. That's the way it goes. There's tons of research gone into this model. Here's an example. If I want to lose fat, I want to lose about 20 pounds of it. So that's specific and measurable. I will lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. That's realistic. We can definitely do that. 1 pound of fat has 3,500 calories in it that you need to be in a deficit. So you need to burn 3,500 calories in order to lose 1 pound of body fat. And if you do that 500 calories a day, over 7 days, you're going to burn 1 pound per week. So you could do that with your diet, and you could also do that with your training and lose up to 2 pounds per week. But 1 to 2 pounds is a very realistic, great goal for fat loss. And I'll hit my goal in 12 weeks. So that makes it time-oriented as well. And it's adjustable, because I can adjust it if I'm not losing 1 to 2 per week. I have 1 week where I lose 0. You know, I could add a couple weeks to that if I need to. Next one, I went over macros and how to calculate your macros in the last video, but plain and simple, MyFitnessPal is a fantastic app for your smartphone that you can plug everything in, your body weight, your goal, your activity level, and it will give you a breakdown when you input your foods that you eat every single time, which gets really easy because it can remember meals from previous days, so you can just copy paste, real simple. And it gives you a nice little chart right here where you can see an actual pie chart breakdown of your macronutrients and your total calories and everything. So this one's fantastic. I definitely recommend downloading it. So carbohydrate manipulation. So again, I went and touched on the fact that if you're not burning carbs, they're getting stored as body fat through gluconeogenesis. So again, 60 to 80 grams a day is the general amount that your body can utilize just from being awake, thinking, moving around a little bit. So it's not much. Like we all know, you can consume well over 200 grams of carbs in one meal in a plate of pasta, if not more. So it's very important to control them at this time. So what I'm doing myself is, if I'm not hitting a workout for the day, which I have a lot more rest days now, not having access to the gym. So if I have a rest day, I'm not going to go over 60 to 80 grams of carbs. I'm going to control those. And I'm going to have most of my meals are going to be keto style. I don't really like the term keto in general, just because I don't like to follow a diet. If something's not livable for the long term, you won't do it. So if keto is not for you, I like to avoid that terminology altogether and just say I'm going to do a low carb, control my carb diet for that day. So most of my meals will look like eggs or egg whites and avocado, chicken and walnuts and a salad. I might have a little bit of complex carbs because they're much slower. So a complex carb versus a simple carb, we've all heard about it. I'll touch on it right now. So if you think about it in a molecular structure, a simple carb has about 9 molecules and a complex carb has about 28 or more. So if you think of it logically, it's much simpler to take apart 9 pieces than it is 28 or more. So it's very fast. And because you're not needing carbohydrates quickly, because your brain doesn't need to burn that many over the course of a day, again, it can be stored as body fat through gluconeogenesis. So if you have a more complex carb that's going to take more time to break it down, your body will have more time to utilize that as energy instead of stored as fat. So that's key as well. So I'll have some complex carbs in there, keeping it under 60 to 80. And then again, I'll have more meals like protein powder and peanut butter, or steak and asparagus or something. So I'm having more fat calories in where I've reduced the carbs. So like, for example, if I'm going to have a carb meal, it's going to be just chicken and sweet potato. If I'm going to have which is low fat and moderate carb, if I'm going to have a carb-free meal, it's going to be steak or salmon that's higher fat, or I'll add some walnuts to my chicken, which is higher fat, and veggies. So that's plain and simple general rule that I am following to maintain. It's been working pretty well. And if I do get a good workout in, I'm trying to deplete and burn as many carbs as I can. So I'm doing more volume, more sets. So if I'm doing push-ups, in the gym, I would do 3 or 4 sets. I'm going to do like 6 or 7 or 8 sets or 10 sets of 10, just to try and really deplete the carbohydrates. And then I'll allow myself to have a moderate carb day, which I'll have carbs in 3 or 4 meals. Because the carbs will just be shuttled with insulin into my muscle cells in the form of muscle glycogen. And the body can hold between 400 and 700 grams of carbs, depending on how much muscle mass you have in the form of glycogen. So if your body has depleted the carbs from your muscle glycogen from working out and exercising anaerobically, there is room for more to be shuttled in there. So that's what your body will do with the carbs instead of converting them fat, because you're already full and you don't need them based on your lifestyle and your activity level. So there's that. I want to go over this. This was in the last video too, but don't starve yourself. I have gone over this quite a bit. I've seen this a lot over the last 10 years of being a personal trainer and being a competitor and seeing people get coaching. The metabolism is so important, and it's so fragile that you want to make sure that you're really protecting it. And I'll just go over what the metabolism does briefly. So there's 3 main purposes of the metabolism: the conservation of food to energy to run cellular process, the conservation of food to fuel to building blocks for proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, some carbohydrates, and the elimination of nitrogenous waste. So what does all that mean? That sounds really important. Essentially, it's going to conserve food to energy that runs cellular process. So every single cellular process, including building muscle, losing fat, staying alive, fighting off disease, it's taking the food and converting it energy for those processes. So that's very, very, very important. It's also conserving food to building blocks of proteins, which is going to actually build up your muscle. And the more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism is as well. So your metabolism is going to adjust based on your energy expenditure and your food consumption volume. So the only ways to increase your metabolism are by training and eating more food. So if you starve yourself, your metabolism will adapt and adjust to living off less calories. So if you've been eating, less than 1,000 calories a day or so, your metabolism is going to adjust to eating that many. So when you have that cheat meal with your family or that Easter dinner or whatever, and you end up consuming 3,000 calories, well, guess what? 2,000 calories above the 1,000 that your body has adapted to are going to get stored as fat. And that's almost a pound of fat right there. So that's how important keeping your metabolism in check is. I have avoid survival mode written down in here. And basically what survival mode is unfortunately, there are some places in this world, third world countries, where people rely on this physiological process to stay alive. And that is when you have limited access to food, your body is going to go into what I call survival mode, and it's going to adjust and adapt your metabolism to live off fewer calories, and it's going to hold on to body fat because that's vitamin and mineral rich, and it's going to allow your body to waste away muscle tissue because it costs more calories to move around. So you don't want to have that happen. If fat loss and muscle gain is your goal, it's going to throw you in the opposite direction, and you're going to end up training super hard, 2 or 3 hours a day. You're going to be eating 1,000 calories or less a day, and you're going to burn no fat, and it's going to be extremely frustrating. And I've seen it happen again and again and again and again. So I don't know where that magic number is. You know, it's hard to say because there's so many variables. Every single person is different, but I like to make sure that no one drops below 1,200 calories or so, give or take. That to me is the zone where it's like any more than that, and your body could be like freaking out and holding on and doing all those things I mentioned. So make sure that you're eating enough to let your body know that you are not dying, you have access to food, and you can get rid of some body fat because it's not going to kill you. So don't starve yourself. Avoid survival mode. Protect that metabolism at all costs because it's going to keep you fit and in shape. Next slide. So I have this fancy photo up here just for one of my analogies that I think is really important. So it's going to be about plateaus and why are they so important. Usually when I use this analogy, I ask somebody what they do for work. So I'm just going to ask you what you do for work. You're going to tell me what you do. And I'm going to tell you, if you were to get a job laying brick in the construction trade tomorrow, you're going to be pretty sore. And that's because your body is adapting to, it's going to have to adapt to the new workload that you have. So you're not used to laying brick. You're not used to using those muscles and burning that many calories. So your calorie expenditure is going to go up. So you're going to lose some body fat. You're going to lose some weight. You're also going to build some muscle tissue because your body needs to adapt to that workload. And that's what we're designed to do. So eventually though, so you're going to lose body fat. You're going to build muscle doing this job switch. And then eventually you're going to adapt to it. You're going to be strong enough and you're going to be light enough to handle the workload. So your body's not going to change anymore. See where I'm going with this? So adaptation is important to both achieve and avoid. So your body's going to physiologically adapt to the new job of being a bricklayer by building muscle and losing fat. But then once you've adapted to it, there's going to be no more change. So that's when you want to avoid it. And you're going to have to, if you relate that to a workout plan, you're going to adapt to your workout plan. You're going to make the changes you need to do to be able to handle the workload and volume. And then there's going to be no change. And then that's a plateau. You can also adapt to your diet plan as well too, because your body will adjust, your metabolism will adjust, and then you need to see where you can go in the right direction. So I'm going to go over progressive overload briefly too. What the heck is progressive overload? The progressive overload principle states that in order for a muscle to grow, strength to be gained, performance to increase, or for any similar improvement to occur, the human body must be forced to adapt to a tension that is above and beyond what is previously experienced. So that means train insane or remain the same. Simply push yourself and challenge yourself, or your body will have no need to adapt, just like going from being a teacher to being a bricklayer. If you're going from being a teacher to being a teacher in a different subject, your body is not going to need to change. But if you switch jobs to that physically active bricklaying job, your body's going to build muscle and lose fat. Same thing. If you've been doing the same workout plan for over 4 or 5 weeks, your body has adapted to it and you're not making changes. Well, that's why you need to use the progressive overload principle, and you need to make a change so your body will start adapting towards it. And then once you've adapted towards it, make another change. It's that simple. Next one, I plateaued. Now what? So essentially what you want to do is review your SMART goal. Start over, make a new goal. Hey, you want to add muscle now. You want to add, you want to get more definition. You want to lose a little more fat. Maybe you want to put on some weight. Review your SMART goal and then start over on it. Also review your diet and workout plan. Like I just said, if you've been doing it for a while and you're not getting any progress, you need to switch it up. You got to talk to your trainer. You got to do some research online, reach out to someone like me, be like, Mark, this is what I've been doing. And, you know, I'm not making any progress. And I can take a look at it and be like, you know what, it's because of this, this, or this, and change this, and you'll be on the way. And I threw this ace of spades here because I like to call making plays in the right direction playing a card, like a card game. So here's one of the big secrets I learned to getting in shape is that you don't want to play all your cards all at once. I used to think that it was physically impossible for me to get a six pack. I thought it was my genetics. I thought that I was just not able to reach there for whatever reason until I started bodybuilding. And I saw what my coach Jody was doing, and he was playing cards in the right direction over a long period of time. And the light bulb just kind of clicked, because if you have been eating junk food and you've not been working out a whole lot, and you know you have lots of cards to play in the right direction, and you start laying them all out, and you start eating salads every day, low calorie, and your metabolism adjusts to it. You start training twice a week, twice a day, 7 days a week. I've seen it. And you're doing cardio in the morning, and you're doing resistance training at nighttime. What happens when you adapt to that? What happens when you plateau? What are you going to do next? You've already done everything. So what happens, and I'll tell you, because a lot of people do this, is you're going to stop all your progress. You're not going to lose any fat. And then you're going to get discouraged eventually, because you're doing lots of work with no results, and you're going to go backwards, gain all the weight you've lost, and progress you've lost. And you're going to get frustrated, and it's going to take you longer to get motivated and to start again. So don't do this. Don't play all your cards. Keep some cards in the deck. For me, for example, I eat fast food every now and then. I don't do any cardio, and I'm, like, there's room. I still have cards. I can add cardio. I can add more supersets. I can add giant sets. I can add, I can clean up my diet. I've got so many cards to play in order to get all the way with fitness that I'm good to go. And I usually will just ask somebody, I'm like, well, what do you think you could do to make a change in your fitness to progress? And they're like, well, I could change my workout up a little bit. Boom, card. I could add a little more intensity and do HIIT cardio instead of regular cardio. Boom, card. I can, I usually go out for lunch with the staff, and we usually don't make the healthiest decisions. Boom, pack a lunch or make a better decision. It's not that hard. Pretty much anyone can think and be like, you know what, I can change something about what I'm doing right now, whether it's with regard to your diet or with regard to your workouts, and then play that card and see where your progress leaves you and takes you. And then when it stops again, play another card or review your goal. So we'll go next. And that's it. I wanted to keep it really short, but that's essentially what I'm going to do to stay in shape while I have the no access to the gym. And I'm praying to God that everything works out okay and everything resumes back to normal and we can control this situation. But until then, I wanted to let you know that you can contact me for free guidance absolutely anytime. Send a DM to Boss Sudbury on Instagram or Boss Supplement Sudbury on Facebook. It all goes to my personal cell phone. You can also text my work cell, which is right here. I have it on me all the time as well. And I will answer any questions that you have at any time. And I want to share my knowledge with you because I have learned a lot over the last 10 years. And it's really easy for me to see areas for improvement in people's diet or workouts. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Think smart. And you can figure this out. It's really, really simple. And I hope I'm able to simplify this for you guys and help you stay in shape until we get our beloved gym back. Thanks for watching, everybody. Love you guys, and be safe.